And if you're not familiar with me, I'm a musician and performer who has managed to somehow remain doing that for about 11 years now, since I began performing as Andrew W.K. I'm just going to move this away now because I think it may be a little bit confusing. I go by W.K., although my birth name is Wilkes-Krier, but I thought that was a little bit long and difficult to pronounce, so I started using W.K. actually quite early in elementary school. I grew up in Ann Arbor, Michigan, which I am very thankful for as well because I had a lot of mentors there, either older kids in my school or people around town that could turn me on to things that I didn't know about. Really actually blow my mind. That's what they were good at doing. Introducing me to things that not only was I not aware of, but I couldn't even conceive of the possibility of some of these things existing, whether it was an album or a book or a movie or just an idea, a concept, a way of living. And that's when I started doing Andrew W.K., was when I tried to take the musical, melodic, rhythmic power of my early training and combine it with the freaky, wild, energetic power that I learned from all these mind-blowing mentors and fuse it into something that could truly be my own. And I'm in the process of that still. And in fact, I think maybe the entertainment industry in general is the best to me, the best field to work in, because it's the one that fully acknowledges the absurdity of existence. That it's all temporary, that you can't cling to any of it. It's all completely impermanent, and it revels in that. Like, that's where the joy is to be found, in the moment of watching the band or watching the video or making the thing or playing the song. We're not here to create a jeweled brooch that we will then keep in a museum and look at or wear over the years. And if we did create a jeweled brooch, we certainly could, and it could be included in this. I mean, if you're an artist who wants to be making paintings or sculptures, you can make a painting and put it on your album cover. I was always someone who had a lot of different interests, and it seemed like entertainment, you could do just about anything you could ever imagine, and it all counts. Like, there's a place for it under the umbrella of this industry. But it also embraces the absurdity of existence in general. I mean, we're all going to die at some point. And I've noticed in the last few years, I'm not sure why, there seems to be an increased premium or more value put on an idea of realness, whether it's coming from a brand trying to promote themselves as real, like real good food, or whether it's coming from a performer who's trying to appear down to earth. And I was trying to think, am I not being real? Like, right now, I'm speaking. Is this how I would speak to my mom? Is this how I would speak to my best friend if we were sitting at a bar, after a long night of hanging out? No, but I am speaking, and I can't deny that that is real in a way. And I think just a good headspace that I wanted to remind myself of and remind you guys, I'm assuming that you already know, but the most real and authentic thing you can do is just doing what appeals to you and doing what you're meant to do and doing what you're good at and seeing your vision through. Whether it's genuine, I don't know. It's the genuine impulse to express what excites you. When a heavy metal band goes and sings in a very powerful voice, I doubt that's the voice they would use to speak to their mom. Although there could be some very interesting death metal conversations out there. Mom! I called you Thursday. Call me back. But I'm guessing that there's different layers to all these personalities, and the genuineness comes from them pursuing what appeals to them. So I remind us all that that's authenticity, being true to yourself, even if it means wearing a costume, even if it means doing something that is very abnormal. It's your vision, it's your perspective, your point of view. And if we can be true to that, as false or phony as that vision may be, that's still as real as you could ever get, in my opinion. You hope to get chills in life every day, either through a song or an article, to be moved. I guess that's actually just called being moved. And it's not like a happy feeling or a sad feeling. It's just raw emotion. It's just raw feeling. And then actually you can harness that feeling and sort of dedicate it in any direction that you would want. But once I got that idea that I want to make music and use every skill or every experience I've had to create that feeling, to make music that takes me and other people to that place, then I had this thing to do and a focus. So I started playing any show I could get. I think the big mindset of those times that got me my first meeting with a record label, that got me a meeting with a publisher, that allowed me to meet my lawyer and my managers, it all started from saying yes to every single thing. There was nothing that I turned down. There was no show, even the most just the most ridiculous shows. But the first shows I played were in a Starbucks, actually, in Astor Place, Starbucks in Manhattan, where most people were in line to get coffees, kind of looking over their shoulder at what the heck is this guy doing with a keyboard, banging away, and doing jumps. I was actually doing some very good jumps. So I think they appreciated that. But it was devastating, you know, and I had envisioned my music to be played by a whole band, and then here I am, just this one guy, but there was obviously some deeper motivation or some deeper sense that this was the right thing to do, even though in so many ways it felt wrong. And my friends from back in Michigan were saying, what are you doing? You moved out to New York to do all this stuff you're not doing, like, what are you even doing? You should come back to Michigan. But I think that momentum, that inertia that happened, that began by saying yes to everything, whether it was a house party show, whether it was this coffee house shows, whether it was playing with totally different kinds of people, especially in New York, you can't help but meet someone and have things take the next step. And if you have enough inertia, I think your path leads you on its way. It's almost like a conveyor belt, I think, like a moving sidewalk. That your road, you don't really even need to walk down that road. You sort of get on your road, and then it just carries you forward. It's incredible how your path will take you where it wants you to go, whether you like it or not. And then really, there's nothing you can do to stop it except to, die, I think. And even if you wanted to go in a different direction, I think it's going to suck you right back in. Which for the better or worse, when you have something you were born to do, it's not always the most joyful experience always, but it's just great to have something that you can tell you're good at, I guess, And these ideas of success, I've been thinking about this too. My dad said something to me the other day that was a different type of advice that was kind of disturbing. He's like, well, you're probably getting the age where you're going to start realizing what's the point of all this. I thought, wow, as you get older, it's like the opposite. You're like, oh yeah, now I'm really doing it. Now I'm an adult, I'm a grown-up, I can do all this exciting stuff and really feel like I've made it. But almost and I try to imagine someone like Bill Gates, I mean, where do you go from there? What more do you have to attain? And that's why I think the most successful people would always probably tell you that, as they always say, it's the journey, it's the process, it's the joy of the experience of doing it. And if you can stay close to that, then I think that's true success. I think, first of all, trying to define what an artist is can be a bit tricky. I used to hate, actually, when I first signed with Iowa and Def Jam, when they would talk about their artists and their artists and their artists. I always thought an artist was like a painter or someone who did drawings, a visual artist. And then otherwise, you're a musician or you're a performer, this idea of being an artist. And then I thought, well, why is a musician an artist and then a computer programmer, why aren't they an artist? They're making creative decisions. Everybody is an artist, I think, in terms of making choices. And the way we traditionally, or that I traditionally think of an artist is just, you recognize that you're making choices, but we're all making these creative choices. What to eat, what to do, what to wear, where to go. It just usually doesn't have the significance that a formal artist gives it. If you shoot for way too high, then even if you go down, it's still going to be way more than you would have ever realistically set a goal for yourself. I think that's also a good headspace. Always think way bigger than you think you could ever think, Yeah.